Good morning. We're going to call to order the September 2nd Walton County Technical Review Committee meeting. First item on our agenda this morning is review and approval of the August 5th and August 19 minutes. Do we have any changes to those minutes?
No, sir, I don't see any changes necessary.
We'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the August 5th and August 19th TRC meeting minutes as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Do we have any announcements this morning, Rachel or Karen? Okay, we'll move right into project review. First item on our agenda is number 2, the new Class 3 disposal cell. It's a minor development reviewed by Renee Bradley. If you can briefly introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. This is a minor development order submitted by Billy McKee on behalf of Walton County. They're requesting a new solid waste disposal cell at the landfill on 40.6 acres. The project property has a future land use of public facility and institutional with a zoning district of public facilities and is located at 1118 Institutional Road and is identified by the parcel IDs in your packet. Staff's only comment on this was certification on the survey. Engineering was needing some, environmental was needing some construction plans. We didn't have North Walton Fire Review yet. There's just a few engineering comments. And with that said, sir, I'll be glad to turn it over to the applicant.
Good morning.
Good morning, Billy McKee, Walton County Solid Waste. I already touched this thing and messed it up. All right. Any questions?
Had a chance to review the comments?
Yes.
Do you-
We will address the comments and get back with the engineering department and the environmental department as soon as we can.
How quick do you think they can get this resubmitted?
How quick do I need to? Really quickly?
Well, I mean, we'd like to approve it as soon as possible.
Okay. Right now, the engineer, they're working on the final plans. Matter of fact, they should have the final construction plans and the bid documents to us in the next couple of weeks. So I'll get with them when I leave this meeting and ask them to address those comments immediately with the engineering department. The construction plans, this has the grading and drainage plans, which I think should be sufficient for the environmental department to review for setback issues. If it's not, we'll have a full set of plans within the next, hopefully 2 weeks. Full construction plans.
See any issue if we continue it to the next meeting? 2 weeks?
No.
Trying to work on it?
That's what we need to do. All right.
Thank you, Billy. We'll entertain a motion to continue this to September 16, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Motion to continue.
You have a second?
I'll second.
You have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item's continued to September 16th at 8:30 a.m. in this location, and that should give engineers some time to address comments.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Next item is number 3, the Cat Island Estates. It's a major development reviewed by Renee Bradley. Renee, if you could introduce it for us, please.
Yes, sir. As you said, this is a major development application. It's been submitted by Henderson Engineering and Consulting, LLC, on behalf of Cat Island Estates Development, LLC. They're requesting to subdivide 55 single-family lots on 29.59 plus or minus acres. The property project, it has a future land use of residential and a zoning district of urban residential. It is located off of Highway 83 North on Cat Island Road, approximately 1 mile, and can be identified by the parcel ID in your packet. Planning did have some concerns and has already gotten with the engineer on, there's a little discrepancy in the survey and site plan. I think they figured out what that is to clear that up. There is some outstanding engineering comments. I don't have North Walton Fire on this one yet. And I don't believe we had any outstanding environmental. Well, we had, please clarify the primary wetland zone and the 25-foot secondary protection zone. There is a few flood comments. We did have school board comments on this as well. And with that, sir, I'll be glad to turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Renee.
Good morning, John Henderson, Henderson Engineering. I just had a couple of questions. On the flood zone questions. The project is two separate parcels. One parcel is about 28 acres and one's 1.18 acres. The 1.18 acres is on the lake, and that's the one that's in the flood zone. And I'm splitting that into two lots. Being that it's two lots and 1.18 acres and it's a separate parcel, does that require the flood study? That's typically only for 5 acres and 5 lots. It's a separate parcel. It's not contiguous and separate legal description.
There adequate land to create uplands with these new lots that are out of the flood zone
Yeah,
on that
Well,
small piece?
yeah.
Or is
Well, I
it-
mean, it's one lot already.
But is it entirely in the flood zone?
No, there's a little bit that's out, that's in an X.
Did you review the policy that talks about not increasing density in the flood zone unless you've got adequate uplands to build on?
I'm not, it's 2 units per acre is the allowable density. So I'm not increasing the density,
Going from 1 lot to 2?
but it's the allowable density is 2 units per acre.
Any questions about any of the other comments?
Yeah, I had a stormwater question. About the treatment. Some of the lots that front Squirrel Road, it's kind of hard to capture the runoff from them. And I'm providing treatment for all of the road and most of the houses and driveways. And in the stormwater pond, I'm providing compensatory treatment for the rest of the area. And I just wanted to clarify if that was acceptable. And I'm providing stormwater attenuation for everything. And I know your comments, there was a ridge in the middle, some went to the lake on the west, some went to the south. And I didn't break that apart because it all went to the lake, but I can show what goes west, what goes south. It's all attenuated. And like I say, I provide treatment for the road and most of the houses and compensatory treatment for the rest of it.
Yeah, I think, obviously we're adding impervious area, we're increasing the runoff. So essentially, I'm looking at rate and volumes and want to make sure that, you have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 houses on Squirrel Road. I mean,
All the stuff that goes, much of the area that goes to the west, I'm capturing that and running it to the main pond. So that area, pre-developed, post-development is significantly smaller than the pre-development area, so it attenuates the discharge.
And I believe you sent me an email. I didn't get a chance to review
Yeah.
it, but that was part of the other comment too, was that there were multiple pre-construction bases.
Yeah.
And I think if you broke those up and showed the pre-post for that.
It's really just a ridge. Some goes west, some goes south. And I've already done that, and it is attenuated. That's all fine. It's just the compensatory treatment. Due to the terrain and the existing frontage, it's just hard to capture some of that on the Squirrel Road frontage.
And what about the comment about the proposed grading? Because I know obviously that it's on a large hill and typically.
Oh, I've already done that. I got your
Gonna show the
comments
lot
about a week.
grading?
Yeah, I got all the lot grading done.
I just wanted to be sure that if.
And I showed a cross-section where the borrow area was. I got a cross-section and some DOT specs and stuff for filling that in and compacting it.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got all your stuff pretty much addressed. It's just the compensatory treatment was the only question I had.
I think we'll take
Good.
a look at it. Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Okay, the only other question I guess I had was the flood zone question.
Flood zone question.
Being it's a separate parcel, there's not a requirement for a flood zone study. And the increase in density only applies to future land use changes. So he gets his underlying density within the floodplain. So we would just be looking to make sure that these structures are adequately elevated.
Yeah,
There's a requirement that if they are in the flood zone, that they be built on open elevated foundations. So that would be a condition of the approval.
Any other questions from the TRC members? What we want to do?
Based on the conversation from this meeting, sir, it sounds like he's able to answer all the questions. And about what time you think you'd be able to resubmit?
oh, I can resubmit next week.
Within the
for-
next
Yeah,
7
within a
days?
few days, yeah.
If that's the case, sir, I think we would just move him forward to the planning commission based on him responding to all comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got a recommended motion to conditionally move this project forward to planning commission, subject to satisfactory response to all comments. Do we have a motion at the dais?
Make a motion as stated.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? This will get public hearing at Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. We're going to take just a moment to invite any technical questions or comments from any member of the audience or anyone on Zoom. Anyone wishing to make a comment about this development? Seeing none, we have a motion on the table here. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed
Aye.
likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the Planning Commission at the next available opportunity, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. John. That moves us to item number 4 on the agenda, Hawks Landing, major development, reviewed by Stephen Shawn. Stephen, if you could briefly introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. Good morning. This is a major development order application submitted by Nautilus Civil Engineers Incorporated on behalf of South Star Communities, requesting to construct 150 townhomes and 3 single-family residential homes and associated infrastructure on approximately 38.85 acres. The project property has a future land use of conservation, residential, and mixed use, with the zoning district of conservation, residential, and village mixed use. The property can be identified by the parcel numbers in your staff report, which I would like to enter into the record, please.
So moved.
There are some some outstanding comments. One in particular that planning staff has concerns about is the compatibility analysis required by the zoning district. Other than that, based on conversation with the agent of record or the applicant, it appears that they're all straightforward and can be satisfied moving forward. Additionally, I know that the compatibility analysis is forthcoming. It just hasn't come to me yet. And if there's no further questions, I'll open it up to the applicant.
Thanks, Stephen.
I think we haven't gotten a staff report for planning comments yet.
Microphone on.
Although I think the compatibility, would that be the only comment we'll have on that one? Or do you have any other ones? It's not online either. Really? So I haven't had a chance to look at that, although we did get all of the engineering, public works, flood, and environmental comments. Those have been on there. So I haven't seen that one just yet, but we'll take a look at that. The compatibility, I think, will be, it's just a matter of us putting the paperwork together. This is very similar to Walton's Landing that's located just southeast of this, which essentially everything that applied to that will pretty much be almost the same on this one. The other comments that we had regarding traffic, we uploaded the incorrect report. Didn't have the map in there, Bill. I've gotten that one. Uploaded it last night in case you want to go ahead and look at it. The correct map. We also uploaded the compensatory storage calculations. I believe you also asked for an exhibit. I'll be happy to put together an exhibit if you would like, but essentially our borrow areas are from those large ponds. That's really the whole reason those are so big, and the fill is all the rest of the area. So would you like another exhibit to kind of show that, or the calculations themselves are enough? It's a spreadsheet calculation. There's not much to it. The other big comment we had was Public Works. Is there anyone from Public Works available here? Anna? The biggest thing we've got.
Good morning.
Hi, Anna. The biggest thing we've got on that was it said that you've got more than 3 access points. And I'm assuming that is due to the 3 individual lot driveways on the conservation residential piece. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I reviewed the code section that applied to that, and I'm trying to kind of think about how we address that. If, Indian Woman Road has probably 100 driveways on it currently. So it's not really set up for a collector road type status. However, I do see the code section and the way it's written kind of seems to say, don't do it no matter what. Don't have individual lots or individual homes coming off of a county road. I looked at ways that we could do a shared access. However, most of it comes back to we've got to purposely disturb wetlands to add area for a shared access to all those 3 lots. So my question really is, due to the type of roadway that it is on Indian Woman Road with somewhere between 50 and 100 driveways, is there any way that we can address this short of doing a shared access road there with additional wetland disturbances?
You looked at doing a shared driveway potentially? I mean, I know that's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, so what the problem we've got with the shared driveway is the mosquito control ditch in the front. We culverted all the way across those 3 driveways. If we do a shared access, we're essentially leaving the open water without the culvert, and in that case, buffer zones really apply. So that pushes it back another 25 feet in the wetlands if we've got to have the buffer zone and not have that driveway in that access area.
I'd have to take a look, it's been a while on this one, but is there, is there existing driveways across the street in this particular area?
Yeah, the west side of the road is the old map of Center Roads of, I believe they're 50-foot wide parcels. So there's probably 100 of them all the way down between Chat Holly and the north side of Indian Woman Road. The east side is mostly undeveloped, so there's probably 5 to 10 driveways on the east side where we're located.
I mean, when Chance and I first looked at this, that was one of our main concerns, because regardless of what's been done in the past, we are trying to limit access, excessive access, but we can look and see if it's the development trend in this particular area. Now, I do know there's several, there's some other developments, I guess, in the works as well, but we can take another look at it, but I don't know how we get around the land development code specifying the maximum number of access points, because I think even with the county engineering approval, we can get it up to 3, and you're proposing 5.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I don't know,
and
Mac,
it's,
if that requires a variance, or if, okay.
yeah, and the other real question I had too is because they are in the same development order, we've got 3 conservation residential single-family parcels that are somewhat separate than the townhomes that have 2. And the total frontage is somewhere around 12 to 1,500 linear feet on the 2. So you've got about 650, 660 feet for each type. There's the VMU parcel with the townhomes, and then that has about 660, and then there's the conservation residential that has about 660. So I also didn't know if we could look at it that way, like they're 2 separate developments, which essentially they are. Maybe this is something we can get on the phone with later, so we don't spend
Yeah,
time
we're
here.
gonna have to talk about this later, because one of the things I'm looking at is just how much development we've got in this particular area. The fact that, we're moving very fast towards mobility plan, which changes, traffic concurrency, mitigation, significantly, and I'm gonna suggest this project's gonna be subject to the mobility plan, as opposed to our current proportionate fair share.
Do you know when those will be adopted, the actual standards?
I expect it will be this fall. That's one thing we're gonna have to look at with our traffic consultant and Chance in Public Works about this whole area around Chat Holly. Given today's agenda and last week's agenda, Chat Holly's becoming very popular.
It is.
That's something we're going to have to look at in the next couple of days. Have any other questions about any other of the comments? Well, you haven't seen them all.
We'll look at them afterwards, I think. Technical comments, for the most part, we've addressed, other than this one Public Works. That's the one we need to work through. And it may also be that, just to move us forward, I know the developer does have some bank financing going on, so we don't want to hold them up over 3 lots. They would probably gladly just put the 3 lots on hold if it meant going ahead and moving it forward.
Anything in here that really is I didn't see anything in here that couldn't be worked out. Stephen, what are your thoughts?
My recommendation would have been to continue, based on the lack of compatibility analysis and conversations with the applicant indicating that there was some some phasing work that needed to be sorted out on his end. And then in addition to the conversations that are kind of open-ended that have taken place today, I would stick with my recommendation to continue.
Your thought?
You know, obviously, we always like to move forward, but if we can hit the next 2-week meeting, I think we'd be okay with that. The actual phasing is done. Those drawings are all reprinted and ready to go. I haven't uploaded them because I wanted to see where we went with this Public Works comment today. But I'm going to go ahead and get those uploaded so we can move that forward, and we may actually just remove the 3 lots so we don't have to deal with that at this time. We'll come back later and deal with that. But so that leaves the compatibility is the only thing that's not addressed, and that's a simple document, you know. If you'd like to continue for 2 weeks and we'll get the compatibility in, that's okay with us.
Yeah. Recommended motion is we continue to September 16th. We have a motion at the dais.
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second? And we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to September 16th at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Thank you, Curtis. Next item is number 5, the Nelly Landing Townhomes. This is a major development reviewed by Stephen Shawn also. Stephen, if you could introduce it for us.
Sorry about that. This is a major development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering Inc. on behalf of DeFore Ventures LLC, requesting the approval to develop a new neighborhood featuring 55 townhome units, 4,500 square feet of commercial office space, and 5 live-work residential units on approximately 9.8 acres. The subject property has a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of small neighborhood, and is identified by the parcel number in the staff report you have in front of you. This is a planned unit development, and there are quite a few outstanding comments, both from planning and from others, including environmental. I have spoken with the applicant, who's indicated that they are fairly straightforward, and there shouldn't be any issue in addressing all of these if the project does continue forward. If there's no questions for me, I will open it up to the applicant.
Thanks, Stephen.
Good morning, Jamie Eubanks with Jenkins Engineering. We have addressed just about everything so far. Stephen's been kind enough to clarify a few things for us. I don't see that we'll have any problem resubmitting within the next week. The only question or clarification or item I did want to address today, if possible, item number 7 in the planning comments about Nelly now serving as a collector. And I just really wanted to address the required sidewalk that comes along with that. There's a rather large mosquito control district ditch that runs down Nelly. For some notation on that, there's a 48-inch pipe directly adjacent to our entrance. So to construct the sidewalk, which we can do, it would be directly connected to Nelly itself. So I don't know if that is a situation where maybe a buyout would be feasible in this case. That was really the only question I had.
Yeah, that, given the environmental constraints right there, that might be the best solution. Plus, there's nothing to connect it to yet.
That was the only thing I had remaining.
Recommend a motion, Stephen?
I would recommend conditionally approving and moving forward based on satisfaction of all outstanding comments.
Okay,
I'll make that a motion.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Donna. This is a major development. It'll get a public hearing at a public hearing at Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners meetings. As it moves forward, we're going to take a moment to invite any question related to the technical compliance with this particular application. Anyone wishing to make a comment or ask any question related to the technical compliance? None in the audience, seeing none on Zoom, we will move forward with the motion at the dais. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally moved forward to Planning Commission, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. Gentlemen, next item, number 6, South Walton County Town Center Mixed Use, request to approve a final order, major development reviewed by Stephen Shawn. Stephen, if you could briefly introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. This is a major development order application submitted by David Forstrom, PE, on behalf of Connie Bailey, requesting approval to develop 92 townhome units, a restaurant, and a mixed-use structure containing commercial and limited lodging on approximately 11.3 acres with a future land use of mixed use and zoning of Town Center 1. The project site can be identified by the parcel numbers within the staff report that I would like entered into the record, please.
So entered.
There are a significant number of comments, just general planning development comments, and then a number of comments relating to the town, the new town master plan of development for this area. I do want to indicate that I did receive South Walton Fire comments, so you should have a copy in front of you. I also did receive engineering comments, though I neglected to print them out for the meeting this morning. But I do recall quite a few comments in there as well. If there are no questions of staff, then I would like to turn it over to the applicant.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yes, good morning. I reviewed all the comments. I agree with all the comments.
David, could you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
I apologize. David Forstrom, Forstrom. As I was saying, I reviewed the comments. I agree with all the comments. We will be addressing them. I only have one question. On the stormwater retention system, we agree with the comment of going with the wet retention. My client originally did not like the idea of, he had safety concerns, with wet retention pond. I tried to convince him that that was probably the more economical way to go. So we are going to go with a wet retention system. We'll redesign that. And the question on the stormwater is, we have 9.2 acres for residential, and the rest is commercial. Does it matter where the stormwater is? We like to do the stormwater treatment for the whole property. Does it matter if the stormwater pond is on the residential portion?
Well, I think that goes to one of my other comments too, is that there was some proposed property lines. Is this going to be some kind of master, have a master's owners association, if you will, to maintain the infrastructure? And would the commercial be separate from the residential, from the restaurant, from the commercial building on Chat Holly? I mean, you had there was a lot of questions with this.
Yes, there were. The intent was to sell off the 9.2 acres to an entity for development of stormwater, of townhomes, and then the other would be commercial. So they would be separate lots. Now, if there's some way we could have a joint agreement for a common retention pond between the two entities, we could do that, because I think it'd be more economical to have one stormwater wet pond for the whole development. I just want to see if there are any issues with that.
I mean, I still have some questions. I think if you're going to go that route, then it's almost as if you would have to plat this and then provide drainage easements over the different parcels that would be conveyed with the property that, if you sold it.
Okay. With that being said, we may just go with two separate ones. Sounds like it'd be cleaner and easier.
We are going to need to plat this. So plan on that part.
Yes, absolutely.
And have to address the appropriate maintenance entities.
Sure.
It'll be responsible for whatever common areas are allocated there.
Okay. Due to the number of comments, I would like to see if I get scheduled for the first TRC meeting in October. I just need to know when the resubmittal deadline would be for that.
Rachel will pull that up for you.
Oh, okay.
It would be over 7.
Okay, thank you.
This would be a request to continue to the October 7 TRC. Okay, we got a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
Motion to continue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the October 7th Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Thank you, David. This moves us to item number 7, Ace Home Helpers of Santa Rosa Beach. It's a major development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce for us.
Yes, good morning. This is a major development application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates requesting approval to construct a 27,000 square foot commercial building and associated infrastructure in 2 phases on 2.15 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. There's outstanding comments from planning, environmental, engineering, traffic, and fire. I just got the fire comments yesterday. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
So entered. Thank you, Tim.
Sean Humphrey, Emerald Coast Associates, last name Humphrery. Fire. The only real issue is the confusion with property appraisers. This property was a larger portion, and then it got divided out into 4 separate parcels. So the development and design, the parcel used was 0160, and then when it was divided out, the new parcel is 0152. But they've included the drainage easement for Publix, so that pond has been included in our parcel, so we just need to clarify with them. Because the surveyed property is 2.15 instead of the 3.12 acres. Other than that, there's really no issues or concerns with getting this back early next week.
I have a question. Is there not, and maybe it's in a PUD document or part of this, is there not a separation requirement between association involved with this for the shared detention facility between Publix and this
There
parcel?
will be.
There'll be?
Yeah, moving forward, we're gonna need, are you planning to plat this?
I am not sure.
I expect to, because we're gonna have multiple commercial developments sharing common facilities, and they're not all gonna be owned by the same people.
Okay.
Once development happens. So we need to know exactly who's responsible for what going forward.
Yes.
What do you think, Bill? The planning comments are pretty minor.
Yeah, I think mine are, I think the one that stands out without knowing whether or not they're gonna plat this is who's gonna maintain the infrastructure, the access roads and the stormwater. So that's just a big question mark for me, and I don't know how quick that can get resolved with, being at the stage we're at. I don't know.
I mean, it's not going forward until
Add
we.
the comment that it requires plating.
Okay.
And an owners association to, be responsible for the appropriate common area.
So I would recommend we go ahead and move it forward, and it won't go to the DRB until we've resolved all of these issues.
I'm good with that. Are you good with that?
I think so. I think that's fine.
Okay, we've got a recommended motion to conditionally approve, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments and adding the comment regarding plating. And it can move forward to the design review board, subject to satisfaction of comments.
And I'll make that a motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. This item will get public hearings at Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. Anybody wishing to ask a technical question or make a technical comment in the room or on Zoom? Seeing none, we'll move forward with the motion that's at the dais. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward, subject to satisfaction of comments to the Design Review Board. Thank you, gentlemen. That moves us to number 8, the Big Fish Bike Rentals Office and Warehouse. Minor development reviewed by Tim Brown.
Yes, thank you. This was continued from our last meeting. This is a minor development application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates requesting approval to construct a 4,350 square foot warehouse and 138 square feet of office with associated infrastructure on 0.45 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. There's still remaining comments from planning and public works. The biggest issue is providing parking for the pizzeria in the rear and getting that parking off of County Road 30A. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
So entered.
I'm not too familiar with the modifications that are going on with this project. I know we're changing parking to meet this, and other than that, that's all I'm aware of.
I guess we're waiting on a resubmittal.
I believe so, yes.
2 weeks.
I think 2 weeks, yeah.
We'll entertain a motion to continue this item to September 16.
Motion.
We have a motion at the dais. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
You have a second. All in favor? I'm sorry. Anyone have a question? Technical question or comment? Yes, sir. If you could come to the podium, please.
Yes, sir. I'm Robert Reinhardt.
Yes, sir.
R-H-I-N-E-H-A-R-T. Live at 215 Lee Place, Santa Rosa Beach. I've recently sent several photos of daily occurrences via email. I'm hoping they've showed up here. But I live there daily, so there's a lot of issues that we as residents that traverse that area. It's called a minor project with major concerns in the area where there are major problems with people walking up and down 30A, their business practices of getting in the road to service their bikes, all of these various things. The 30A parking, very hazardous. The storage, not necessarily speaking against building a building. Hopefully that would cover up the junkiness that's there anyway, unless that just adds to another junky area after it's even constructed. Have lots of concerns about water runoff from a 4,500 square foot building. It's going into ground surface now. Where is that water going to go? It's very congested. in that area already with flooding. There are just so many concerns. We have no idea of what the building looks like, and undoubtedly, as the project manager here says, he's not real familiar with what's going on anyway. But I have lots of photos that I've sent with the various problems that need to be addressed. A sidewalk maybe down Robert Ellis for future, to cut down on the pedestrian hazards in the front. There's just so many things that need to be addressed for this, and I hope they're being addressed better than what seems to have been submitted to you by the project itself. So if you have any more questions from me, hopefully you've gotten those emails with the photographs.
I think all of your concerns that you just voiced are ones that we also have. We have met with the applicant to speak directly to those concerns about the parking on 30A. A sidewalk, I think, is being proposed along Ellis. But making sure that we have adequate parking for the existing business and for their proposed new bicycle warehouse, just to make sure all of that stuff gets cleaned up. Because I think we share your concerns. There's a lot of stuff on those two parcels right now. Hopefully, most all of that will get moved inside a building, but we want to make sure that they have adequate parking, that the stormwater's addressed, and pedestrian circulation right around there is addressed, because we do agree that's a serious concern right now. And that's why we're going to continue this to give them an opportunity to resubmit addressing those concerns that we met with them on last week.
Okay.
But appreciate all of your comments. They're very well taken, and there are things that we are directly addressing in the review, and that's why this project can't move forward today.
Thank you.
But appreciate it. It will be continued, I think, to September 16th. That's the proposed date. Would like to invite you back. There'll be a public hearing at that time and a revised plan. And in the meantime, if you become a user of CitizenServe, you can go online and look at all the plans that have submitted and all the review comments. All of that is public record, and it's completely transparent and available through the internet. Providing the internet's working. It wasn't working at my house this morning, so. But we do appreciate your comments and taking time to come and share those with us.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mike, the staff report for that meeting would be due next week, and I'm out next week, so could we continue this to the first meeting in October?
Probably what we need to do. That'll give the applicant. We got questions on Zoom? Okay. Kirk, can you unmute yourself? If you'd like to make comments, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Kirk Iring. Hold on just a second, please. Yeah, Kirk Iring, E-Y-R-I-N-G. I live on Robert, down on Robert Ellis. Sorry, I'm getting a double deal here.
Yeah, if you have your laptop on, or if you're watching through computer speakers,
I do.
turn those down.
Try and see. Let me just go to my laptop. Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go. We got rid of the echo.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. Can you hear us, Kurt? Go ahead.
Hello?
I think he turned his speakers down.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you now. Except we can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Sir?
Yes, sir.
I apologize. Again, Kirk Iring, EYRING. Some of the same concerns about the parking, pulling out on 38 from the pizzeria is a problem. It also creates a blind corner on the corner there of Robert Ellis and 30A. They display bikes also on that corner, which is a problem. And basically, I know they're trying to separate these two parcels, but basically it's one business it's two businesses on one parcel, basically, is the way I see it. Some of the concerns are the dumpster and the easement, which I think you pointed out on the engineering report. And also there's things like there's an RV on the property. I don't know if people are living in that RV or not, but I've seen people cook out on that RV, which is a concern. Also, the existing pizzeria is encroaching in the easement, according to the survey. Storm drainage, as the other gentleman mentioned, is also a problem. From a technical standpoint, am I going too fast, or can you guys?
No, go ahead.
From a technical problem, the handicap ramp, the way it's drawn right now, you're pulling in there, and the handicapped person would have to back out a long, lengthy driveway to get out of the property. I've never seen that done in a commercial property. There's no turnaround radius for either one of those spaces to turn around and drive out of the property. That's a concern. Also, there's the stop bar location on the current floor plan. The site plan is about 15 feet from the street, which is very strange. Also, so you're stopping and then creating a blind corner going out of the property. I think the main thing I want to talk about is really the way it operates now, and I see it continuing to operate the same way, even with the new building. Right now, what they do is they offload. They pick up the bikes in the morning with a pickup truck and a trailer. They load the bikes up from the kind of the open area they have now, and then they pull them out in the morning, and I guess they bring them back throughout the day instead. So the west side of Robert Ellis, that lane is blocked 2 or 3 times at least every day on the unloading, and these are multiple trucks. I don't know how many trucks and trailers he has, but it's probably a half a dozen or a dozen. I have no idea, but it's a constant thing. At one time I had small kids. We could not walk down all we wanted to do is have access to the beach, basically. So we wanted to walk down Robert Ellis without dodging bikes being offloaded and unloaded. Also, the delivery trucks for the food service areas, those are semis. They come in, again, they park in the same area on the west lane of the Robert Ellis and offload their stuff. And so that's also a concern. So if anybody and I know that the site plan doesn't currently show any kind of sidewalk on the parcel with the pizzeria on it. That's a concern. I know you're requiring a sidewalk on the other parcel, the new parcel, but nothing connecting to 30A, which I think is a problem because again, I want to walk down a sidewalk to 30A and cross to the beach access, which is right across the street. The other thing is, again, going back to operation of the building, I see no way that they can not continue offloading in the street because to get a truck and a trailer and back it down that ramp, I think there's going to be a great difference on the drive ramp into that building. You can't pull in there because then you're going to be backing up the slope also. So how you get into that building and out of that building.
Well, actually, if I could interrupt you and provide some clarification, when we met with them last week, that was one of the recommendations. They provide 2 doors on the building where the trucks could drive into the building through one door and drive out of the building through the other door, so they wouldn't be parking on the roadway and wouldn't have to be backing up into the building itself. And that sounded like that would address at least some of the concerns you've enunciated this morning with regard to loading and unloading and backing in and out of the site. This would allow them to have a pull-through operation that would be loaded and unloaded inside the building.
Okay.
Just wanted to share that.
That would address
That
the
hadn't shown
problem,
up on the plan yet, but that is coming.
Okay, and how about the handicap spaces and stuff? That'll be reworked also, I assume?
I expect all of the parking will get reworked based on our last meeting, and the next resubmittal.
Okay, all right. And so this is gonna be continued till next October? I mean, to October or the 16th? I'm kind of confused.
I think we're talking about October 7.
Okay. Okay. And I'll have a chance to review the plans online, obviously, and then come back with additional comments or anything else, correct?
Yes, sir. And we do do appreciate your comments. I mean, they're all very much on point and mirrors the staff's assessment of this site also. But thank you very much, and please continue to participate. Do we have anyone else that wishes to ask a question or make a technical comment on this particular application? See no hands in the room, no more hands up on Zoom. We have a recommended motion to continue to October 7. We have a motion at the dais.
Motion to continue.
We have a motion to continue to October 7 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to October 7 at 8:30 a.m. in this location, pending resubmittal. Thank you. Item number 9, 30A Escapes, minor development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you can introduce that one for us.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor development order application submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering requesting approval to construct 14,960 square feet of office warehouse and associated infrastructure on 1.28 acres with a future land use of commercial and a zoning of business park. There's outstanding comments from planning and fire. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record and turn it over to the applicant.
So entered. Thank you, Tim.
Morning, Robert Carroll, McNeil Carroll Engineering, 17800 Panama City Beach Parkway. We have resubmitted and addressed the planning comments. The fire, it just said it didn't comply. We've reached out to them, have no response. We have a fire hydrant out front. There's adequate room for turnaround, so not sure what is outstanding for fire, but we've resubmitted and request approval.
Thank you, Robert. Do we have any other questions from TRC members?
Hey, Mac?
Yes. Sammy?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
The issue that I have is I can't review these plans because when they submit them, they don't give me anything to measure. So I don't know, if the road says it's 22 or 24 foot, but I can't measure it. So there's no way for me to review these. And I've asked this company to please submit a scale for me to review other than what they're submitting. That's the issue I'm running into.
Our apologies, Sammy. The resubmitted plans do have a graphic scale on there for you.
I will take a look at it. If it's in there, I will take a look at it and adjust it.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? This is minor development, so we're going to take a moment for public hearing. Anyone in the audience or on Zoom wish to make a comment about this particular application at this time? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Tim, do we have a recommended motion?
Yes, I recommend that we move it forward once to the development order, once all comments are addressed.
I just have one question. What is 30A Escapes?
That's the name of their business. They're a rental management company.
Okay. Makes perfect sense. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? This item is conditionally approved, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Number 10, Alice Beach Backyard Model Home Complex, lots DD1 through DD3. Minor development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor development order application submitted by Innerlight Engineering requesting approval to develop 3 residential lots for model homes and associated infrastructure in Block DD of the Alice Beach PUD on .73 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of traditional neighborhood development. The only outstanding comments are from planning. Well, I'm sorry, there's also a comment from floodplain manager. With that, I would like to enter the staff report into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
So entered. Thank you, Tim. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, Tim. We did receive, I am here on behalf of Innerlight Engineering, filling in for Jim Martelli, who's tied up.
And if you could say your name and spell your last name for the
Edie
record.
Watson, W-A-T-S-O-N. And appreciate getting the fire approval. We are set to resubmit actually today. We were waiting on the new title report for the survey, which I just got. So we'll be resubmitting today. And I know the engineer of record has addressed planning comments and as well as the floodplain comments. And do my best to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions from the TRC? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll entertain a motion, Tim.
Yeah, I recommend moving it forward to the development order after resolution of all of the outstanding comments.
Thanks, sir. We got a recommended motion to conditionally approve subject to satisfaction of comments and move to development. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Since this is minor development, we'll take a moment to open a public hearing. Anyone in the audience or anyone on Zoom wish to make a comment about this application? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion at the dais. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward subject to DO, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. Thank you very much. Item number 11, Santa Rosa Golf and Beach Club. We have a request to continue to September 16.
No, sir. There's a corrected memo. It's to December 7th.
October 7th?
Oh, yes, October 2nd. We are working with Public Works to help mitigate the fertilizer runoff. And this is like a once-in-a-generation opportunity to really impact that. We've spoken with the agent. He agrees we're not taking an adversarial approach. We're just trying to make something a lot better than it could be. And they expect to have their water management permit in the next 2 weeks, and I'll have my comments from the additional public work reviewers in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Bob. I think this is a significant regrading of the golf course, which is a grandfathered use in this particular area. An opportunity to improve water quality in the coastal Dune Lake watershed, and we certainly appreciate the applicants efforts in that regard. We'll continue to work with them to make the best project we can for the benefit of the coastal dune lakes and our public. Recommend a motion to October 7. Do we have a motion at the dais?
I'll make that a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to October 7. That will move us to item number 12, which is the 393 Innerlight Eng minor development application. We have a request to continue that to October 7 also. We have a motion at the dais.
Motion to continue to October 7th.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 This item will be continued to October 7, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 13, the South Walton Commerce Park PUD amendment. It's a major development review by Bob Baronti. And Bob, if you could briefly introduce that one for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This, as you said, is a major development order application submitted by Innerlight Engineering Corporation on behalf of the St. Joe Company, requesting to create 21 commercial lots with associated infrastructure and roads as Phase 2 of the South Walton Commerce Park PUD on 79.14 plus or minus acres. The project site has a future land use of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center, Bay Walton Sector Plan Recreation Open Space, Bay Walton Sector Plan Long-Term Conservation, and a zoning district of Bay Walton Sector Plan Conservation, Long-Term Conservation and Recreation Open Space. The parcel numbers are cited in your staff report, and I'd like to enter this report in the record, please.
Thank you, Bob, and so entered.
Mr. Chair, there are minor comments being addressed. The submittal was actually very high quality. We spoke ahead of time about clearing up Phase 1 requirements too, so they're a lot less confusing. The applicant has done that, and that this will become overall the same. They're basically the same guidelines. They're not asking for anything different. There's some minor comments that I spoke to the applicant, and the applicant feels that he can address quickly. I don't believe in the new batch of fire comments. This one was received, but I only had a few minutes to look at it. If it is, I will forward it to the applicant. The applicant's representative is here to speak on this project, and I'd like to turn the project over to the applicant.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, good morning again. Katie Watson with Innerlight. Was standing in for David, but he's just become available, so he is on via Zoom and is going to do the introduction.
Hey, good morning, committee. Can you hear me?
Good morning, David. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Thank you all for letting me participate remotely this morning. And I'm David Smith with Innerlight Engineering, and I'm representing the St. Joe Company. And as Mr. Baronti presented, we did receive the staff report. We've already started to address the comments. There were some minor comments from engineering, the floodplain.
Still there, David? Hope you weren't driving.
He doesn't do that.
Okay, can we hear you?
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry if you lost me there. But we feel comfortable. We can address the comments. They're all very minor. We'll have everything resubmitted at the beginning of next week, and would respectfully request to move forward to the Planning Commission meeting, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
I do have one question, and it may be for the applicant. This is generally in the area where we're discussing affordable housing related to water sound. Is that going to somehow connect to this roadway network?
As right now, Matt, my understanding, and I can let Catherine clarify if I'm speaking correctly, my understanding is there's no plan to connect that to the industrial park, but I'll certainly, if there's any different direction there, I'd certainly welcome Catherine's comment. But my understanding is this is an extension of South Walton Commerce Park and would remain its own development portion.
This is Catherine McCloy with the St. Joe Company. We are still planning on the affordable housing area, but it's a little bit farther south.
Okay. We just see stub outs for streets to connect to something else at some point.
Yeah, and we'll have a whole interconnectivity in that area later on.
Thank you.
Affordable housing is south.
Thank you. We have a recommended motion, Bob?
Mr. Chair, I have a recommended motion to conditionally approve and move it forward to the Planning Commission at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Bob. This will get public hearing at Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. We'll take the opportunity to invite any technical questions or comments at this time from any member of our audience, live or anyone on Zoom. Anyone wishing to make a comment or ask a question about the technical compliance with this application? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion at the dais.
So I'll make a motion as recommended by Bob.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to Planning Commission, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. Thank you very much. This will move us to item number 14, the C93 trail rides. This is the minor development reviewed by Bob Baronti. If you can introduce it for us, Bob.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This application was submitted by Jenkins Engineering on behalf of Dirt Investments, LLC, requesting to add an RV and camping on 9.75 plus or minus acres. The project property has a feature land of general agricultural and a zoning district of general agricultural, and is identified by the parcel number in your staff report. I'd like to enter the staff report in the record, Mr. Chair.
So entered, Bob.
Mr. Chair, there are a number of outstanding comments, but talking to the applicant, he feels that he will be able to submit these into a timely manner. The applicant is here to speak, and if you don't have any questions for me, I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Bob.
Good morning, I'm Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering, Jenkins. I did get the comments earlier and have gone through them yesterday, actually, and don't really have any questions or concerns about any of them. We'll be able to get those turned around pretty quickly. I'll just be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Thanks, Scott. Any questions from the dais? Seeing none.
The one question I have, and I know that I may be stepping out of bounds, but there is a comment about showing the floodplain on the site plan. Are you going to be able to accommodate any kind of compensatory storage and
We will.
such?
Yeah, we will. We did wet detention so that we can meet those requirements for the extras. So yes, we should be good there.
Sure.
Yep.
This is a minor development. We'll take a moment to open a public hearing. Anybody in the audience or on Zoom wishing to make a comment about this application?
No one present on Zoom.
That's a first.
Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to conditionally approve pending successful resubmittal and scheduled for the next appropriate planning commission meeting.
It's a minor development, so we'll.
Oh,
go to
I'm
DO.
sorry, to the DO, I'm sorry.
Okay, we've got a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed
Aye.
likewise? Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to DO, subject to satisfaction of any outstanding comments.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This moves us to item number 15, D, end of the road, 30A Access Roadway, and we have a request to table this item.
Yes, Mr. Chair, until, following your request, until we can set up a meeting. The request has been made to set up the meeting, and Rachel will be working on it very shortly to make it. And I apologize, I did not identify myself. Bob Baronti, B-A-R-O-N-T-I.
Thank you, Bob.
To refresh you, this is
Right.
not proposing any development. It was to build the road. And you had concerns that you said you wanted to meet one-on-one before we took any further
Yeah,
steps.
before we build a road to 30A that commits us to something that's not part of this application. Thank you, Bob. We have a request to table. Do we have a motion at the dais?
I'll make a motion, we table.
Motion to table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Motion carries. This item is tabled and it can come back when it's ready. That moves us to the last item on the agenda this morning, the Gillis 80 acres large-scale amendment. This has been reviewed by Bob Baronti. Bob, if you could briefly introduce it for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is a large-scale amendment application submitted by Jenkins Engineering Incorporated on behalf of C&M Contracting, requesting approval to change the future land use from general ag and rural residential to industrial and extractive uses in the zoning district from general agriculture and rural village to extractive uses on 80 plus or minus acres. And the parcel number is identified in your staff report. May I please enter the staff report in the record?
So entered.
Mr. Chair, there are really no outstanding comments. This is a borrow pit. It meets the comprehensive plan requirements in the LDC. The agent is here to answer any questions further in depth. Do you have any questions of me before I turn it over?
Any other questions for staff?
I'll turn it over to Mr. Jenkins then.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering again. We're here representing this request. The property owner of this piece of this parcel is a site work contractor, so his intent is to construct a borrow pit for his own business. This is just obviously the land use portion now. He'll have to go back through development order in order to do that later. But this is just kind of the start of the process. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have, but it's up in the north end of the county, and access is off 331, so.
Thank you, Scott. This is a legislative request and with the final decision to be made by the Board of County Commissioners. And since it will get Planning Commission public hearings and Board of County Commissioners public hearings, we'll take the opportunity to invite any technical questions or comments from any member of the audience at this time. Anyone in the audience or on Zoom wishing to make a technical comment or ask a technical question about this particular application? Seeing none in our live audience and none on Zoom, we will close that portion of the meeting this morning and move to recommend a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to recommend this approval of this project and move it to the Planning Commission at the appropriate time for its first public hearing.
Thank you, Bob. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is moved forward to Planning Commission, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments.
Thank you.
And that appears to be our entire agenda this morning. Thank you very much for everyone's attendance and perseverance this morning. It's been kind of a long agenda, but thank you very much, and we see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mac.